Hey, it's Myra Golden. On my channel, my focus is helping frontline customer service professionals like you create positive conversations with challenging customers and de-escalate intense interactions. If that is relevant to you, subscribe to my channel. Today, I am sharing my 3R method for de-escalating intense interactions. Right now, this is relevant because customers in the COVID-19 era are more hostile, they're frustrated, they don't have the patience that they once had. They're more difficult to deal with. My 3R method is 3 steps that will put you back in control of interactions. Stay tuned. Step 1 of the 3R method is recognize. A few months ago, I ran into a cousin who I had not seen or spoken to in over 10 years. More than a decade ago, we had a conflict that tore our relationship apart. So I hadn't seen her, but I run into her at the gathering, which was actually a funeral. And when I saw her, I immediately walked up, knowing we'd had the conflict, but I'm thinking it's a funeral, people are going to be respectful and to be happy to see one another. So I walk right up to her and I speak. And I'm probably not even a foot away from my cousin when I speak. So I know she heard me, know she saw me, but she looked over me, like looked over my head and began a conversation with someone who was behind me. I felt ignored. It was incredibly awkward. I was embarrassed because other people saw and witnessed, heard this interaction, or at least my part of the interaction and the diss. And what that did is it moved me to the right side of my brain. And the right side of the brain is our emotional side, where we would feel that awkwardness, that embarrassment, which for me turned into anger. And it turned into me not being able to let go of that moment for the entire hour and a half or 2 hours that we were together. And so it really affected me. When you're dealing with a customer who is upset or frustrated or venting, you need to recognize their emotions, that issue that they are bringing to you, so that they don't feel that sense of rejection that I felt with my cousin. You don't want a customer who's already upset to feel rejected or ignored. What you need them to feel is heard, acknowledged, understood. So the first thing you are going to do when you're trying to de-escalate with a customer is recognize their emotions. You can do that usually in one sentence. You don't have to spend a lot of time here, but you do need to acknowledge. So here are some ways that you might do that. I realize it's frustrating to have waited so long for your order. I mean, that's it. Just acknowledge that. It's enough to make the customer feel like you're listening. They're more than a number. It's more than you pulling data out of the computer or entering data in the computer. So what you don't want to do is, after they vented and you know they're frustrated, you don't want to say email address, order number, claim number. No, give a statement of acknowledgement. I can see your point on that. It's one of my favorite ways to acknowledge. You don't have to say much. I can see your point, and then everybody's ready to move on. Now, if you happen to be working with customers face to face, I know right now the real big deal across the nation, across the globe, is getting customers to wear a mask or enforcing a mask mandate. So this phrase may help you because you want to recognize how people are feeling about that, as well as enforce the policy. One way to do that is, I know it's bothersome, but it is a state mandate. You have to wear a mask to board this bus. For example, I just did a digital workshop for a transportation company, and that's a big deal. A lot of passengers don't want to wear a mask. So step 1 in the 3R method is you have to recognize the customer's emotion. Don't ask for any details, name, order number, email number. No. Recognize in one sentence, then you move on to step 2, which is reframe. Reframe is reframing the issue so that your customer has a different perspective. Instead of venting, raging on, complaining, you want to give the customer the perspective that I'm here to support you, give you the answers you need, help resolve the problem if possible. In preparing for my de-escalation training, and I'm doing a lot of that these days, I visited with several retired police officers and a current police officer. And I learned in a video from a police officer teaching de-escalation training that one way that he reframes, and he didn't use the word reframe, but that's really what he's doing. But the way he changes the perspective in the situation, for example, if he pulls over a person, and let's say in this situation, the person is suspected of driving under the influence of alcohol or drugs, and he pulls that person over. You never know what you're going to get. If no one likes to get pulled over, and if they know, they've been drinking a little too much, people may be agitated, irrational, illogical, violent. So you have to be really careful in those situations. And so this officer explained that one of the things he does is he works to find common ground with the person he's pulled over. So if the person happens to be driving a brand new Camaro, he may say, "Hey, is that the new Camaro?" And that puts the officer on the level of the person. We're just, two people talking. And so then you begin to talk about the Camaro. With your customer, is there any way you can find common ground? If we're talking about enforcing a mask requirement, you might say something like, "You know what, I don't want to wear a mask either, but you have to wear a mask if you want to board the bus." Now, I actually don't mind wearing a mask, so that wouldn't be authentic for me to say, but if you can find something that you can connect in a genuine way, maybe it's, I don't blame you for being upset for having to wait so long to talk to a representative. Find a way. The ground there is, I would be upset with the long wait as well. Another way to reframe is to try to meet a need in the here and now. Maybe I'm not able to give the customer exactly what they want. Maybe they're trying to track a shipment or trying to find out where that shipment is of a product they ordered weeks ago, which is really happening a lot right now. We have so many shipping delays. You're not able to get a tracking number. You can't say, yes, that order's been shipped and you will get it, tomorrow. Maybe that's not possible. What can you do? Going back to the police officer example and pulling over someone who's happened to be in a brand new Camaro, and they're not going to be able to drive that Camaro home because their blood alcohol level shows that they're over the limit. And so meeting the need in the here and now, what that person would want probably is to be able to get back in their car, go home, not catch a charge. Not happening. But in the here and now, that officer said he might say something like, "You know what? We don't want your car sitting on the side of the road. Let me call a wrecker for you. We'll go ahead and get the car off the street, still impound it, but we'll get it off of the street because that person cares probably the most about that brand new car in this example." So find a way to meet a customer's immediate need. So I'm not able to give you a tracking number right now because things are just all out of sorts. What I can do is flag your account in the system so that you get an automatic callback or email when we know more. So find a way to meet a need in the here and now. And the last step of the 3R method is resolve. Now, resolve is easy if you have effectively recognized. Remember, you're going to acknowledge that concern with one sentence. "I can see your point on that." And do it in a genuine way, smoothly reframe. If you've done steps 1 and 2 right, you will smoothly move right into resolve. But if you find that you're ready for step 3, but the customer is still complaining, they're still whining, they're still very talkative, that means you need to go back to step 1. Go back to step 1 and connect through that recognition. That's all we need to do. Back up. Don't be afraid to back up. When you are ready, and you will know that you're ready because a customer is talking less, you have brought the temperature of the interaction down. When you're ready to go into step 3, you have 3 opportunities. In a perfect world, you have a solution that the customer is happy with, they take it, and you call it a day. But we're not in a perfect world. So your opportunities are here to contain that situation, contain that emotion, so that the customer doesn't verbally abuse you. If it's face-to-face, they don't physically abuse you. So you either contain, or you use these skills to de-escalate and put yourself in control, or you resolve the situation. Try out the 3R method and come back and let me know what you think. Give me a thumbs up if it worked for you. I'll even take a thumbs down if it didn't work for you, but do try it out. You may have to adapt it to be a good fit for your specific situation. For more ideas like this, visit my website at myragolden.com, or you can scan the QR code and it will take you directly to my website. For more ideas like this, you can also just join me right here on YouTube, subscribe, and you'll be the first to know when I drop a new video. Until next time.